Okay. I've been out of the United States for the last 4 years, and the last 4 or 5 years, and within that time frame, okay, there may be an opposition that has somehow befriended people that I may have known in the past, okay, and kind of promised them a delivery of some sort, either in a casket, wheelchair, medicated and incapacitated, or in a grave. And I think that ones that I may know are closest ones may have become a little bit arrogant because of it, and in the process violated my rights. In the process, see me, and now have seen me as being somewhat degraded, and I don't have the same rights, or I don't have the same level of, I don't get the same amount of respect as you know, the average street walker. Okay, fine, so be it, that's fine. Okay, but the problem is the failing to deliver. Okay, when you fail to deliver, okay, you cause liabilities to a lot of people, whether it's organized crime, okay, who says, hey, look, we're not going to let you walk around, you know, knowing a little bit too much about us, okay, or anybody who just doesn't want to go to jail, okay, or it's law enforcement who often says, well, we were undercover and we just flipped our badge and say, hey, look, it was a sting operation, okay, whatever it may be, okay. And like I said, in that process, they may have violated my rights and seen me as being somewhat of an animal or less than a street walker. And in doing so, and like I said, due to the circumstances, they're not going to deliver, so they're going to fail to deliver and put themselves at risk. Law enforcement's play in it is the same thing. You know, like I said, they're going to fail to deliver due to the circumstances. You know, technically is what it's about. It's about technically putting somebody in prison, or technically putting somebody where you want to put them. And if you don't have if you can't do it technically, then it's not going to happen. And I think law enforcement may also fail to deliver. If they fail to deliver, like I said, they don't allow themselves to go to jail. They usually say, we were undercover the whole time. Okay? It's that simple. Now, one would ask, like I said, what would ask the reason for it? Well, the reason for it is in order for people to understand it, okay, sin, sociology, and organized crime, in order for you to understand it, okay, you need a lot. You have to, it's like a lecture of some sort, and they're not understanding that, okay? So the next thing I'll go into is as far as threats are concerned, okay? I'm going to present a threat, okay, and I'm going to make you understand what a threat is, okay? There's a graphical representation of a threat, okay? There's a technical representation of a threat, and there's a social representation of a threat, and they all could be the same thing, okay? So for example, I'm going to say Tony's walking into this business, and I'm the business owner. I'm looking at Tony and says, hey, look, Tony, you better back down, Tony. I'm carrying a weapon, Tony. You know, you're going to get it. You know, your fish head or something like that. Okay, that's that. Now, if I then say technically, I say, look, Mr. Tony, I'm carrying a weapon concealed. You don't have a right to be in my business. I feel threatened by you. I'm armed and I'm ready to shoot. That's, you know, technically that's a threat. I'm letting you, but it's not. Okay. And the third way socially is, hey, look, Tony, you're walking around threatening people, walking into people's homes and telling them to do what you want, and the likelihood something happens to you and your kids is highly probable. It's called karma and so on. Okay. All three things are the same thing, but depending on how you say it or how you present it, it can be processed as being a threat. And they can try to convict you, but when you explain it, they cannot. Okay. So that takes care of that. Like I was saying before, you act like a mobster, you behave like a mobster, you get treated like a mobster. Okay. And it can happen to anybody. It can happen to a cop. It can happen to you know, you have situations where cops behave so low that they eventually end up in a very ugly scenario. That's what you call a max pain. That's the best way to see it. The max pain level. They drop below, and I don't think I should be telling you this, but they drop below a savage dragon, and it ends up in a max pain. And once they're in the max pain area, they have this nightmarish reality in which they're walking around and they've walked into a crime scene, that, you know, a domestic crime scene after getting some tacos from coming home from a job, and then they walk into it, and there's, you know, and so on. So I think a lot of people don't really know what they're getting into when they start getting into the, you know, the mafia part of their life, or a midlife crisis when they want to behave like a mobster. And they don't understand what type of energy they're attracting, and they don't understand what type of repercussions they're attracting later on in life. It's that simple. It's that. I don't know what I can possibly say at this point. It's simple. It's that simple. So, I don't want to pause for something.